So how can we get small children involved in cooking? Obviously, we can go get Bake Me a Story, and you can bake those stories and then read the stories there.
Yeah, so I look back at, so my children are, my eldest is nearly 17 now. I look back at how and it was, I think for me, it was a subconscious thing. I did it naturally without even really thinking about it. But it's one of the best things I did was getting them to, as soon as they could sit, it was just sitting down and maybe chopping a banana or just like anything soft, giving them an avocado and saying, could you just smush that up for me? And they would sit there and they would think that they were helping, but really most of it was on the floor. But actually they felt like they were useful in the kitchen. And I think often with children and with adults, there's this kind of idea that the kitchen is meant to be for adults and it's not a space for children. And I think first we've got to dispel that completely. Is the kitchen is a place for everybody, and it can be safe as long as you know what you're doing and how to use tools properly. And from a very young age, I've always got my kids involved, and they're really good at using knives now, really careful. They know how to handle them, so I trust them completely. So when you're with little children, start small. My advice is start small. You don't have to start big and get them in the kitchen and have them cooking an omelette straight away. You just don't have, because there's temper tantrums, mess, like there's all sorts of things that could go wrong. So start small, little things, get them comfortable being in the kitchen. Get them to stand on a stool and do the dishes. Maybe wipe down the work surfaces. Fun jobs that they will really enjoy doing. And slowly, as you get them comfortable in the kitchen, give something a little chop, or why don't you shake some seasoning into this, or get your hands in there and make those kebabs. And so little by little, and before you know it, they're 17 and cooking dinner for you. So, it's baby steps.
That's the outcome. I love that. I think a lot of time we just want to get it done, right? Like we're busy, we have things going on, and we want to we tell the kids, we give them the iPad, go over there and let me cook. And unfortunately, it gives this message that you, child, are like, have this VIP status in the house where your job is to be entertained while I do the work. And that's not really the message that we actually want to send to our kids. So I love this idea of what you're describing as being invitational, making it something that's, you're not special, you're not an outsider, the jobs are, this is also for you, come in here. But I want to invite you into this world. I want to make it welcoming. I want to make it fun. Does this require like a change of mindset from us as the adults dealing with the kids and getting our meal done? Yeah, tell me about that.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I'm a control freak just like anyone else. I love my kitchen to be tidy and immaculate. And I like the idea that when I leave something somewhere, it will stay there. But that's not the reality. It will only last till they're teenagers. And when they're teenagers, they'll be in there doing whatever they want anyway. So I think as adults, we have to learn to let go a little bit. I think we live in this rigid world where everything has to be as is and so, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think because of social media, we live in this world that's meant to look perfect and feel perfect, but that's not the reality of life. It just isn't. Things are not perfect. And I think it's the mum guilt thing again. I think sometimes when they come back after a really long day at school and then all the extra curricular activities, I look at them and they're tired, and I don't have the heart to tell them, could you please just clean that work surface? Or would you mind taking the laundry out? Or would you mind just chopping those onions for me? So now when they come home and they are a little bit tired, I don't say, this needs doing, do it right now. I just word it slightly differently and say, so I really need these onions doing and I need them done by this time. Whenever you get an opportunity, if you're downstairs, would you please mind just really help me out? And somehow the second you say, that would really help me if you got that done for me, something switches in them, and they're human too. And they just like, okay, yeah, fine, I'll do it for you. So I often use that trick. I'm like, that would really help me. I could do that right now and get that job done and cleared. But they feel like they're helping me. And I think that is the shift that I've made mentally, is where I could just get it done and have it tidied and put away, sorted. But actually, I let them believe that actually by doing it, they're really helping me out. And I think that just makes for more caring children. And they care a little bit more about the fact that they're helping me. And I think that's really important too.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's so important. You're helping your kids you're giving them life skills that they're going to need when they're older. And what I'm also hearing, what you're saying, is that there's a little bit of patience practice for you where you're like, I could just get this done and get it out of the way and it'd be perfect. But you're practicing to bite your tongue, step back a little and give them some space to do it, not expect them to be robots and do it like right away, boom, but to
Yeah.
also to give them some space, let them be human, and let them do it from out of intrinsic motivation, out of that intrinsic caring for you. It's very mindful parenting of you, Nadiya.